Hey, this ThinkerThunker. Special thanks to my 124,000 subscribers. You guys, when you subscribe, you're letting my boss, YouTube, know that my videos are worth sharing out to more and more new people. So you are helping me reach a wider audience and help teach the world, educate the world that we now have proof. Simple scientific proof, two different forms of it, that forest giants, aka Bigfoot, do in fact exist. Okay, so do you remember this video from 2014? Have a watch.
Yes, I was out here hunting, and I'm so startled right now. I think I may have stumbled across a Bigfoot. I'm just not sure. Here, let's see if you guys can tell. I'm so startled right now. I'm so startled. Yeah, it looks like there's two Bigfoots. I don't know. It looks like he's got a dead deer in his arm or something. I'm not sure. Oh my God, I think he sees me. I have to go.
So I've made two videos about this in the past, and I've found some really interesting things, but I've never found anything concrete. So now in today's video, I am going to prove 100% for sure what walked up on this girl, or at least 100% for sure what did not walk up on her. Let's go check it out. Okay, so we see one of the big guys walking up right here. I've obviously zoomed way in, and this was just phone footage to start with, so it looks a little pixelated. She said it was carrying a deer carcass, and you can see the deer's head kind of wobbling around there. Could you walk with a 150-pound deer carcass, say, draped over your forearm like it was a jacket? This thing can. But here is what I want to show you. This step right there, that gives us the most information. I can see its foot, its knee, everything I need there to measure. So let's start right there. So here I've dropped in a little rough outline around the figure just so that we can see what we're working with. And I pulled this image into a 3D program. This is a human 3D skeleton, or was, but I had to do some radical modifications here to make this thing fit. And here, I'll show you. This is the final pose I came up with. Something like that. So now we get to the measuring part. Now we get to the truth. Some of you might not be aware that I wrote a book maybe a year or two back called Solved. It's out on Amazon now. And in that book, I show you how if you'll take the three longest measurements from an upright hominid figure like this is a male skeleton. This is a really high-end skeleton sold to clinics and hospitals and universities. And so it's very accurate. And so you can see I took 5 measurements here. I measured from the tip of its tailbone up to the base of its neck, its upper arm, forearm, thigh, and shin. And we can see human proportions, the same proportions that every normal, typical adult human on the planet shares. We have a torso in column 1 and arms in column 2 that are about the same relative length. And in column 3, we can see that we humans have these long legs that are about 30% longer. And to quickly prove that, here I've measured 7 foot 1 inch Shaq. I've measured 4 foot 8 inch Japanese gymnast Asuka Teramoto and 7 foot 4 inch Andre the Giant. And you can see that all 3 of them have the exact same body proportions. Torso and arms, same relative length, legs 30% longer. Same with Asuka right here in the center, and same with Andre the Giant. And if you buy your clothes from a department store, then you share these same exact proportions that all normal, typical adult humans, male and female, across the world share. If you don't buy your clothes, if all your clothes have to be specially made, then you are not a normal, typical adult human. Okay, so it's Pleasure Bets time. Did Nania 562 simply film a couple of dudes, couple of deer hunters in ghillie suits, or did she film an actual unknown species? So you can see that I have measured one of these guys the exact same way, from the base of his neck down to the tip of his tailbone, his upper arm from the shoulder socket down to the elbow, elbow down to the wrist, and the hip socket down to the knee, knee down to the ankle. And looking at this, we can't really tell if these are human proportions or not, because we humans happen to have a flaw with our vision, with our perception, that prevents us from being able to judge proportions properly. I've made videos about this. Go to my homepage channel and you'll see a video there about that. So what I did is I took all 5 of these measurements, drug them over here to the side in what I call a proportional DNA chart, or pDNA chart, because it lets us see and compare the body proportions away from the figure. And now we can clearly see that Nania 562, whatever this is she filmed, it has a torso and arms and legs all the same relative length. And guess what? You don't. You have proportions like this, with the leg 30% longer. You have proportions like all of these normal, typical adult human beings, male and female. So whatever she filmed that day, this is simple, scientific, measurable proof that it could not possibly be a human. And here is the human body proportions, and you can see how radically different red team here is versus green team. And just to point out the obvious, you can't shrink your legs up by 30% just because you're wearing a monkey suit. You just can't. You can't grow out your torso and arms 20% just because you're wearing a monkey suit. Joints, body joints, don't just slide around because you're pulling off a hoax. So again, whatever this thing is here on the left, it could not possibly be a human. And for the skeptics amongst you who are thinking, well, dude, you mismeasured by about 30%. Okay, I'll bite. Let's see what that would look like. I'm going to take the legs there, and I would have to stretch these legs out so that they're about 30% longer, like red team's over here on the far right. So that would look something like that. And there's just no way. And now to prove to you guys that the turkey hunter Bigfoot over here, its proportions aren't some sort of fluke, have a look at the Patterson Bigfoot, who I measured the exact same way. And now let me drop in Patty's body proportions. And you can see that whatever Patty is, she has a torso and arms and legs all the same relative length. And now if I pull Patty's body proportions over, now we can see all 3 together. And you can see that Patty, her body proportions over here on the left, are virtually identical from the turkey hunter Bigfoot. And now compare both of those to the body proportions of every normal, typical adult human on the planet. And you can see, for the first time ever, that we are looking at 2 entirely different species with radically different body proportions. And again, I am not asking you to take my word for this. I am asking you to accept measurements that can be done by anybody. I mean, I've shown you every step of this. Let you see every measurement, everything I've done here. It's this simple, guys. And this proof, their body proportions being radically different from ours, this has been right there in front of us for over half a century now.
Guys, I was out here hunting, and I'm so startled right right now.
So, 98562, there was a very good reason why you were startled, and that's because you filmed a species that, according to science, does not exist. And you filmed 2 of them. And we proved here today with a simple, measurable, scientific process that they could not have possibly been humans. Now, I've got a lot of questions I would like to ask you about this, maybe some other time. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this. This is something from my second video coverage of this video years ago. As one of the 2 non-humans came walking up, it set down the deer carcass by a tree, and watch, look right there. It had a pet monkey, apparently, waiting for it there in the tree. Now you can see the pet monkey, aka its child, an infant, had been there in that tree. I mean, can you imagine the irony of all of America that she had to set up for her turkey blind? She just happened to set up about 40 feet from where 2 big furry giants had left one of their infants for the day while mommy and daddy went hunting. All right, everybody, that is all I've got. I think this is some of the most amazing footage we've ever seen. Be sure and check the link below and go watch the original and give 98562 a subscribe and a like. All right, everybody, take care. And special thanks, as always, to my patrons and my YouTube members. Without their monthly support of most of them $1 a month, my research on all of this would come to an end. I would be forced to go back to doing my day work. So thank you guys so very much. We are proving to the world, little by little, that we now have scientific proof that Bigfoot, aka forest giants, does in fact exist. All right, everybody, take care.